Thousands of files released, hundreds of names mentioned, yet no judgment is done. Everything I learned about the Epstein files was against my will, but yesterday night my knowledge crossed the line. Instead of getting rest and going to sleep, I went down the rabbit hole of the Epstein files. Instead of lying down and sleeping, as Psalm 4 verse 8 suggests, I decided to do the opposite of this. And what I saw and learned deeply traumatized me to the core. I don't want to get into too much what I saw or give any evidence. This is not what my channel is about. All I will say is that the evilness I saw brought deep sorrow into my soul. I couldn't fall asleep anymore after this. 5 hours of this research not only deeply traumatized me, but also opened information to me that maybe I shouldn't have seen or learned. I should have went to sleep instead of scrolling and going down this rabbit hole. But we see it in Ecclesiastes 1 verse 18. It says plainly, "For much wisdom comes much sorrow, the more knowledge, the more grief. This is why only God is all-knowing, and He hides the things from us that we're not supposed to know. God withholds knowledge from us out of mercy. If I would have known that I would see these things, I would have went to sleep immediately." Wisdom of Sirach says in 3 verse 21 to 22, "Do not seek what is too difficult for you, nor investigate what is beyond your strength. What you're commanded, think on these things." Again, I don't want to get too much into what I saw. All I will say is that the judgment for the people who hurt little children is very, very, very harsh, harsher than anything. If anyone causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. Matthew 18 verse 6. This is one of the harshest statements Jesus has ever made, because he tends to be very patient with us. But this statement is absolutely not metaphorical. It will be better for these people if they have drowned in the depths of the sea than hurt these little children and kids. Because children are under God's protection. See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father. Matthew 18 verse 10. Children are directly guarded by God. Even though we don't see any judgment for these evilness, these celebrities, these people, these famous people who brought such evilness to children on this earth, it will be done. And woe to them that it wasn't done on earth, because in heaven, what is waiting for them is worse than anyone can ever imagine. It would have been better for them to have received their judgment on earth, which they obviously decided to run away from with their power and their money and everything. But it would have been better if they have received it on earth, if they have repented on earth, if that's even possible after what they have done. But no, they think that they can run away from it, and they think that Satan can protect them from what they have done, and he cannot, because he's recollecting people to his kingdom. And he just collected a very large amount of people. All of these people in power, they serve Satan. They are his little servants of him, and they do all of this evilness and think that they can get away from this. But the judgment will be done, because abuse, it can be overlooked by us humans, but it's never overlooked by God. No, it's never overlooked by God. This is actually the only thing that comforted me after I saw what I saw. Exodus reminds us in chapter 22, verse 22 to 24, "You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you do afflict them, my wrath will burn." We can remember so many times in the Old Testament God is never joking about his anger. When he's angry, he's angry. And God is angry right now with what these people have done. He's angry about the sacrifices they made. This is not a joke. Innocence is sacred, and violating little children, is listed among what God hates, as Proverbs 6 verse 16 states. All I know for certain is that judgment, it will be done in its appointed time, and it will be better than we can imagine, but worse for these people who have done these horrible things. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 14 says, "For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing. Whether good or evil, everyone will have to pay for their evilness. Nothing will be left unseen." We have to understand this. Yes, maybe they're not getting judged right now. That is not important, because God is the ultimate judge. He's going to do exactly what they deserve. They will be in a place where they need to be, because they have done evilness, such wickedness I have never seen. I have never seen it, and I hope I never see this ever again, because this is horrible things they have done, and I will be traumatized. And I don't think I will ever see people in power the same ever again, because this is just very horrific thing. I don't recommend anyone to see what I saw, but I know it's all over the internet, so we can avoid it. But remember, judgment will be done. Every hidden thing, whether good or bad, people will have to pay for it. And that applies to us too. We think we're okay doing this evilness. We think we're not going to be judged. That's not correct. We're all going to be judged, whether we're doing good things or bad things. So please, let's turn to goodness, because the end times are close. We have to be vigilant, because the enemy prowls around like a roaring lion. We don't even notice it in our everyday things, in our everyday habits. So please, let's be vigilant. Know that the judgment will be done, for good or for evil, and everyone will get what they deserve. Amen, and God bless you.